Shalom. This is Brother Yair Banyinium. Just come with a quick lesson. I pray it be edifying to the flock. Before I get started, I'd like to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Baal Hashem, Yahweh Shai, Baal Hashem, Hakodash. Double honors to the apostles, the elders of Great Millstone, who rule well and teach well. Shalom to the hopeful elect. Yeah, I saw this video. Funny, but scary. Listen, this is why the scriptures tell us, and we emphasize what the scriptures say. Stay off these drugs. Leave them alone. Because if you dabble with that stuff, heroin, cocaine, crack, meth, and other drugs, mollies and whatnot, it will not turn out well for you. You mess with those things, man, spirits come upon you. They really do. And you'll be bugged the fuck out. This video is going to show you that. You're going to see a Jake and Eve. And they're going to be bugged out. They on that stuff. And once they got on that stuff, they open that door for spirits to come on in. So check it out. So you see, man, woo. When the scriptures talk about being possessed, with spirits being on you, that's what it's going into. You saw them. They were bugging out over there. They're gone. Those are Israelites. And look at them. Look at them. Man, be afraid. Leave that stuff alone. Be afraid. Because Yahweh B'Hashem Yahushai can have you end up like that. And a lot of Jakes and Eves, Israelites, so-called Black, Hispanics, Native Americans, they're on that stuff. And because of that, spirits have come upon them. Gotta be careful out here, especially in these times we're in now. You gotta have your wits about yourself. You gotta have all five of your senses, because we're living in terrible times right now. And it's getting worse. You don't want to be out here being like them. Being bugged out and having spirits on you. This my brings up the account with Yahweh Shai. I'm going to read that. This is Luke chapter 8, verse 27. And when he went forth to land, there met him out of the city a certain man, which had devils long time, wear no clothes, neither abode in any house, but in the tombs. So Yahushua went out, and a man came up, and it tells you in verse 27, he had devils on him, spirits. What do you think these people had on them? Let's look. Let's go back and look. Look at them. Look at her eyes. Yeah. Those are spirits. Those are spirits. Look at her eyes. She's gone. She's gone. They have spirits on them. It went on to say that this man that had spirits on him, he didn't have any clothes on. He was not living in a house. He lived in the tombs. The graveyard. Those that Jake and Eve weren't in the graveyard, but they're on the street. They're in a dead state of mind. Verse 28, Luke 8:28. When he saw Yahushua, he cried out and fell down before him, and with a loud voice said, "What have I to do with thee, Yahushua, thou Son of the Most High? I beseech thee, torment me not." So he saw Yahushua. He knew who Yahushua was. The spirit knew. That was inside the man. He knew that was Yahushua. Verse 29, for he had commanded this unclean spirit to come out of the man. So Yahushua commands the unclean spirit to come out of the man. For oftentimes it had caught him, and he was kept bound with chains and in fetters. And he brake the bands and was driven of the devil into the wilderness. So this man, the spirit came inside of him, and it mentioned that they had to bind him with chains and fetters of iron. And the spirit was so powerful inside a man, it gave that man, inhuman strength. We mentioned, he had spiritual power, spiritual strength, where he was able to break the bonds that was on him of iron. He was able to break it. And I want to say that he was driven in the wilderness. The spirit drove him into the wilderness. That's what those people are in the street. They're in the streets. They don't have no place to stay, no real place to stay. Like in verse 27 went into, they live on the streets. They probably live, maybe a cardboard or maybe a little tent or something. But they don't have no real structural building to stay in. Probably they're gone. They're gone. Verse 30, and Yahushua asked him, saying, "What is thy name?" And he said, "Legion," because many devils were entered into him. Many devils are inside these people right here. Look at that. Many. Don't know what's going on. Like Jake don't know what's going on. Many spirits are inside of him. Look at him. Look at him. That's something we need to be afraid of. We need to be afraid of that. We pray wholeheartedly that Yahweh Shai don't have us end up in that state like they are. That's some scary stuff. So verse 30 mentions that when Yahweh asked the name of the spirit, it said legion, because many devils enter into the man. Verse 31, and they besought him that he would not command them to go out into the deep. And there was there an herd of many swine, pigs, feeding on the mountain. And they besought him that he would suffer them to enter into them. So the many spirits that was in the man, they were like, they wanted Yahweh Shai to go to cast them out into the swine. Cast them out into the swine. Verse 33. Then went the devils out of the man and entered into the swine, and the herd ran violently down a steep place into the lake and were choked. And that's what happened. That's what happened. They went into the swine, and they went they went over they went over it and fell into the water. But I brought that account out because of the fact that Yahweh came across a man that was possessed with spirits. And this Jake and Eve are possessed with spirits. Look at that. Look at that. Possessed with many spirits. Done. Like, listen, this is some, be vigilant. Don't dabble with certain things. Don't get, what's the word I'm looking for? Any of that, the witchcraft or any of that nonsense. Leave that alone. Do not mess with the drugs, because that's what can happen if you're not careful. That's what can happen. In this truth, we gotta have all our senses again, all our wits. We're commanded not to mess with that type of stuff, because that's one of the reasons why. It's detrimental to you. It can harm you physically, spiritually, mentally. It can harm you. So, yeah, take heed to that. Take heed to those seeing those Israelites in that state. We don't want to end up like that. So again, keep praying, keep fasting. Like I said, time is running short. We gotta stay firm to the best of our ability to Yahweh B'Hashem Yahushai. So take heed. I pray that was edifying to the flock. I'd like to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh B'Hashem Yahushai, B'Hashem Rahakwadash. Double honors to the apostles, the elders, the great millstone. Shalom to the hopeful elect. Shalom.